Okay. Welcome back. Pleasant good evening to everybody out there. Tough Forum coming back at you one more time for the midweek catch up, the Wednesday war going. On the fifth month of the year, we're in May already. Time's moving, and so is the news cycle. So here we go right off the bat with no further delay. Shout out to everybody out there in listening line. I hope everybody's well and doing good. So on this Monday past May 2nd, we find out as I'm going through the papers, an 18-year-old man was the latest victim of a shooting near Mount Olive Drive in Kipling Avenue. Around 6 p.m. on, I believe it was Saturday, police responded to a report of multiple gunshots near Mount Olive and Kipling in a housing complex. The man was rushed to hospital where he later died. Later on that same evening, police found another 18-year-old man with gunshot wounds at a nearby community center. He was taken to hospital with non-life threatening injuries. So here we have it, folks. We have two 18-year-old men, and we have multiple gunshots fired. This is an area that I was regularly in. I lived up in this area for many years with my kids and wife. Went to the school across from this complex. We frequent this area so often because it was on the avenue where we lived. And this is not a strange neighborhood to violence and gun violence. It's just the ages are always so shocking when you hear the age groups of people who's carrying guns and what's happening. And what's also way more concerning, I guess, is that there's a police station right at the corner that got erected after so much of the violence that was in that area. That a police station got erected right at the corner. I'm talking like a stone's throw from where this incident happened. So one person dead and another person with gunshot wounds, and believe he'll make it, as the wounds were not life threatening. Looking through the papers, also I saw this little article here. Says the Cold Devil Killer. The Cold Devil Killer. Police know everything about this killer except his whereabouts. Now, this is a case, if people don't know, because I don't even too remember it, but this happened in 1983. But you have the title, The Cold Devil Killer. But what's also cold is this case, because it's been a cold case for almost 39 years, almost 4 decades, where we know of a story about a man who was a sole suspect in a rape and murder of a 9-year-old girl whose body was found in a refrigerator on February 1st of 1983. That is just so sickening. And I imagine in 1983 these things were happening. This is how long violence has been happening by the hands of men. And here we are again in 2022, nearly 4 decades later, and the violence is still here. And this particular individual is nowhere to be found. We don't know if he's dead or alive, or if he's just made it this far without being caught. But the police, they know everything about it. When I was reading upon the story, I mean, they know what brand of beer he drank. They know the cuts and scars he's got. They know the place where he frequented. And they even knew that he has the ability to get lost in a crowd and elude police officers. And this has been happening for years, and they still can't corner him. So they know everything about this person except for where he is. And I hope that they come to some conclusion soon, because I mean, soon can't be soon enough, even for that family who lost their precious young daughter. Also in news, we found out that Toronto police are investigating after a body was found in a dumpster at a construction site near a Rosedale home. on Monday. The police say the deceased person was found in a construction dumpster in front of a home in the Toronto neighborhood. Wow. Yeah. The police say the deceased person was found in that dumpster. Apparently, some renovation must have been happening in front of that house. The circumstances are said to be suspicious, and homicide and the missing persons unit is investigating that. So that was the news coming out of Monday, that they're still looking for this, or to identify the body, and they're going through even the missing persons logs to see if people reported somebody missing. That was on Monday. And then Tuesday, what we see here is that a man who died in Northern Ontario Ontario plane crash, sorry, was a fugitive. That one was fascinating. A man who died in a Northern Ontario plane crash was a fugitive wanted for murder. The BC Gang Enforcement Unit says one of the four people who died in an airplane crash in northwestern Ontario was a fugitive wanted for murder by police. And they were wanted by police in Thailand. The unit said that the Ontario resident was wanted for the February murder of another man, which occurred in Thailand. Now, the part B to this story is that this man was the number 2 man on the Bolo list. As you remember in our last report, I was mentioning about the Bolo list, and be on the lookout list, which features 25 of the most wanted individuals. And on that list, we were talking on the last episode that there was, out of the 25, there was one woman. But here, this was a number 2 guy on that list. And here they found him in a plane crash, dead. This man was suspected as an international hitman. And, I've never really heard that. I mean, you hear it sometimes and you wonder, is this real? Like somebody hiring a hitman? But, other than TV, I never really thought that was something that was in real life, that there's someone, out for hire to kill somebody. But apparently this was an international hitman. He was also a former member of the Canadian military, which again is problematic, which again, puts up some red flags, because, this is somebody that was in a reputable place. And I'm sure, I don't know if I can't even say I'm sure, but we hope that his intentions was right when he joined that Canadian military. And then with the training he got, he took it to go do ill and evil works for money, monetary gain at the expense of someone's life. That's just really sad to know that that came out of the Canadian military. So he was a former member of the Canadian military who bred purebred dogs, and when he was not allegedly killing for hire. So that made it in the pages of the news cycle for Tuesday. Yep, this is happening, and it seems like we have a little theme here going on with hitmen. On Wednesday, May 4th, that's today, from the Toronto Star, I'm digging up again. Headline reads, "The convicted underworld double killer granted unescorted pass to Toronto." Wow. Yeah, let me read that headline one more time so you hear it, because you might think that you heard something wrong, but I'm going to say it again. A convicted underworld double killer granted unescorted pass to Toronto. So, let me give you a little context of this story. A convicted underworld hitman has been granted a 2-month unescorted absence from an Ontario prison to the GTA, where he murdered 2 people 2 decades ago. The offender will leave the institution at 9 a.m. on May 18th of this year to travel independently to a specific location in Toronto, Ontario. And they're not going to tell you that, of course. The offender will return to Beaver Creek Institution by 4 a.m. on July 17th of this same year, hopefully. Why I say that is because, well, let me finish the story anyway. The offender, now a 49-year-old man, murdered the two victims while on a day pass from an Ottawa area halfway house on April 6, 2001. So this is why I'm talking about hopefully, because originally he was already on a day pass from an Ottawa area halfway home. And on his way, and while he was on that pass, he decided to go and shoot two individuals. So he had been in custody at the time for robbing a grocery store with a machine gun. So that was the initial reason why he was even in the halfway house. I don't know how he got in a halfway house after robbing a store, but here it is. That was, I guess, the conviction back in those times, 2001. That's not so ridiculously long. I mean, we're talking 2 decades, right? Yeah, he had been in custody at the time for robbing a grocery store with a machine gun. So first of all, I don't know where he's getting access to these guns or this gun, but that was the crime he committed. The offender was sentenced to life in prison in 2003 after pleading guilty to second-degree murder. He became eligible for parole after 12 years. I don't think I've really heard so much cases where someone was eligible for parole, but maybe I think the laws have changed over the last couple decades anyway in regards to that. But here it is. I mean, what can you say about this case? I mean, the man did his time. He was sentenced to life, and life as we know it is like 25 years. So 2001, he did at least 2 years before he got convicted in 2003. And, they have special leniency for, I guess, time served. And now we're in 2022. So, I mean, one can say, why not just make him finish his entire sentence? Would it make a difference? Is it going to be anything? Would he change? I mean, what I look on this is this. This person was probably what at the age 20, 25, maybe. He's coming out now. He's gonna be he's 49, right? So I mean, when you check it, he's my age. He's my age, and though he spent that time in prison, we hope he's rehabilitated. And what we hope is that we can integrate someone like this back into society. And I think that is the crucial part, the pivotal part for this man and for everyone that's in the society that he's coming in, because what's we just hope he doesn't revert. And I mean, he cannot bring back, we cannot bring back the lives that he took. But the question bears to ask, doesn't everyone deserve a second chance, I guess? And I guess it remains to be seen after he's going to be out. But this man's going to be back in the society, folks. And if you really think about it, now that I think about that, there's plenty of people who are probably in the same um, stance in life where they may be re-entering society soon for some crimes that may have been committed some decades ago that we probably haven't even we just put to the back of our minds. And folks, if you think it's bad now, just imagine what some of these elements may be coming out if they're not rehabilitated properly, if prison hasn't served as a deterrent for them, they could only make them probably worse. And we just pray for the best, but that's in the news cycle, and maybe we're gonna have to discuss that one time on the other side of this tough forum, and do it live one Friday for the F bomb Fridays. Wow. But that's what's happening there for Wednesday. Also in the news, an 18-year-old man has been charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of a woman in London, Ontario. You might remember this story I brought back some weeks ago, where a 30-year-old nurse was gunned down while parked in her driveway last September. Wow. Yeah. This is a sad story because, imagine a nurse, coming from work or going to work. but in your own driveway. And this case could have been something simple as probably mistaken identity, or just, wrong place, wrong time, whatever you want to call it. But two individuals were shown on a camera, got caught on a camera, but I don't think they were identified. But nonetheless, today we realize, or we know, we hear, and that it's confirmed that an 18-year-old man has been charged with first degree murder. So at least this person is off the streets. That's a good thing. And look, 18 years old, if he was to do 25 years, he's going to be out here before he's 52. So, hey, just putting it out there. These people will eventually come back into the society if they make it in there. But anyway, that's the update I'm giving you there. What else is in the news? A man was accused of unlawfully providing ammunition to the gunman who killed 22 people in the Nova Scotia mass shooting that I covered, or talked about, a few weeks ago, or a few days ago also. This event happened 2 years ago, as we know, and the anniversary came out just last month. So the man that was accused of unlawfully providing, the killer with the ammunition, has withdrawn his guilty plea and will instead take part in a restorative justice process. I don't even know what that is, but if you don't, neither do I. If we don't, well, let me explain a little bit about how this works. According to what I read, Nova Scotia Restorative Justice Program typically brings together people accused of crimes with their victims. Yeah, to work together on some form of resolution and healing. Now, I can just imagine how that's going to work. What kind of healing? I don't know if that's a good situation, but I'm sure it has to be very well monitored, because I'm sure some people are looking for that opportunity to, yeah, to heal when they get back with their families, killer's assailant, or sorry, accomplice, or whatever you want to call it there. Terrible. But the accused man was, accused alongside two other people, including the gunman's spouse and brother-in-law. Police say all three had no prior knowledge of the killer's plans. For these who complete the restorative justice process, can't even say it straight. For those who complete the restorative justice process, there is no trial, and all criminal charges would be dropped. So I don't know how you feel about that, folks, but again, this is one more thing about the second chances. I guess this, we have serial killers, we have hitmen who seem to be catching that karma, because eluding the police and authorities for all these years, or all this time, and now, one found dead in a plane. The other, don't even know what's going on there. But now we have even the accomplice, the one that who aided, who facilitated, who gave the ammunition to this man, and it wasn't even legal. It was unlawful, ammunition. So that in itself shows you that they were not up to anything good. It wasn't like these people were, going by the books of however you come to have weapons and ammunition in your possession. But for what they did, for what he did, he's now offered the chance to do a restorative program that reunites him, to be in a coalition, or in a joint effort with the victims and the victims' family. And I don't know, if I don't see no kumbaya situation happening there. But the good thing, for the one thing that happens for this, individual is that he takes away his plea of guilty and now he can be free. And I don't know if that's a good thing for him to do again. I think some kind of punishment should have happened here. And then you have a restorative program. But to say that you're going to cancel out one, that those 22 people who were killed, they're not coming back. They have no chance to have a restorative program. So I don't want to sound like I'm just gonna be that person trying to crash every um second chance opportunity or what's gonna be helping. But I don't know what to say, because what do you say to these victims and their families when they have I don't know, that person that really is gonna come and join, and as they call the healing process, um kudos to them, because that I commend them if they can really look at this individual. Mind you, he's not the one who was pulling the trigger, but he aided that person. He pretty much gave that person what the means to load that weapon. It's just a sad situation there, but I'll keep my comments to that. That's what's been happening, man. I'm just still keeping my ears to the streets. Men are still dying. Men are dying at the hands of men. There's people hired for contract killings. And even now we realize someone that was in the military. What do you do when you have elements like this coming out from training in reputable places like the army, the police force? I just read about the police that got 9 months for beating. I won't. Like I said, I don't really like to call everyone's name, but you know the story if you've been keeping your ears to the street. A young man in Brampton courts, we saw that he lost an eye to two police officers, and one did 9 months. One I think got off, and now that one that did 9 months is now resigned from the force, and that leaves me nervous because I don't know what is going to be going through this person's mind. And he has a training. I don't know if his license is going to be revoked. I don't know his gun license. I don't know if he has the right to carry arms still. I don't know if he can have that rage while he has a gun. I don't know if he could do that with a pipe. But what do you do when you have racists, when you have people in systemic areas where we're dealing with systemic issues because people that have the authority are abusing it, people who are in places where you don't think these things should arise, and they're coming from that environment and then coming outside of that environment and making money for profit for hired hitman, making even if it's not monetary, just taking lives because of hate or some problem. We're in a world of trouble. But anyway, that's just a 3 day recap for the midweek catch up. Just letting you know what's happening out here. This is Jules still reporting, still giving you the news, still letting you know what's happening for the Wednesday Wagwan until we catch back up again. Keep your ears peeled, be vigilant out there, be safe. Watch your surroundings, know what you're doing when you're getting your car, when you're getting into your house. You're not safe really anywhere, but we trust and believe that God is watching over us. Do right so that God can keep you right. Do right so that no one has to mistake you for someone who is doing wrong. Um, doesn't take much, but be safe out there, folks. Be vigilant, be sober, and God bless you one and all. Peace and one love till we connect again on the Wednesday Wagwan. All right, I'm out. Peace.